It's really proper hot today, but we're fortunate enough to be paddling about in the pool at the Defected Villa in Ibiza. Now we're just about to catch up with the lads from the Shapeshifters, Simon and Max, and we're going to find out what's going on for them in 2008 and of course summer in Ibiza. So you're back, Ibiza.
Yeah.
It's hot.
It's damn hot here today, right? We're here at the lovely Defected Villa. We're really pleased to be back. It's our second time this year.
Yep.
It was actually last week.
Last Saturday for Def Meet.
Yeah, that's right, with Frankie. It's become a bit of a yearly pilgrimage now, which is really cool, so I'm very privileged to be able to do that. And then tonight is our first show for Defected, one of the first of 3 Defected.
Now, of course, you know, you're most well known for Lola's theme in 2004, and it's inspired by your wife,
yes.
Lola. But how did she inspire that? Was that the...
No, it was one Wednesday in London.
Wet Wednesday?
Yeah, and I remember it well. And it's just after myself, Max and Lola decided to set up Nocturnal Groove. We were kind of going to go into the studio the following week and just looking for some inspiration. And we have nights at home where, you know, Lola's got a fantastic record collection, and you know, I often go through her old records and stuff, and she said, "Oh, I want to play you this record. I used to love this back in the day." And she put on Johnny Taylor, "What About My Love," and the first 8 bars of that record is a very slowed down version of dun 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 dun. And I heard it, and I literally went up to the turntable and put it onto +6, kind of got a feel for it, and 4 days later, we'd kind of pretty much got the bones of Lola's theme. So,
I'm sure she feels very honoured, because they went to #1 in #1 in the UK. For
yeah, in a couple of countries actually.
Yeah, in Australia as well, I believe.
Yeah, and yeah, no, it was a mad experience, and one we're very, very proud of and privileged. So, and very happy about. But yeah, I've still got some, you know, some reserve left on the
Lola's theme too.
No, you know, it stood me in good stead for a few years, I think, with Lola. So.
And what have you've been spending a lot of time in the studio this year, and what's going on? What's coming out?
Well, we left EMI after 4 years with them, which was a big step for us, because we kind of started to feel that when we were DJing out, you know, the stuff that EMI were expecting us to make for them wasn't really matching as what we were doing as DJs, and that didn't feel right to us. So we came to a mutual agreement that we'd kind of call it a day. And we were lucky enough a couple of days later to get a call from Simon Dunmore at Defected. And we had a discussion about what we wanted to do and how we wanted to kind of reposition ourselves, really. And everyone was on the same page. And I'm pleased to say, you know, the first thing we put together was the Treadstone EP.
Yeah.
And we've done a 3-album deal with them.
Fab.
And we're going to put a compilation out with them as well at the end of August. And we're really over the moon, actually. It feels right, it feels comfortable. And feels like...
You look comfortable then.
But it just feels right, and you know, there's no expectations. If we don't, you know, if we make a record that by default goes onto the radio and becomes a radio record and therefore a commercially successful record, fine.
Yeah.
They're a great company to be able to do that. But if we do want to just make tracks for the dance floor, as we do right now, we can do that as well, and they're still the right label for us. So, you know. What's the
You got a big single coming out in August though, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Max can tell you about it.
Tell us about it.
Well, the single is actually called Chime, and it's a remake of Orbital's old classic record that they released in the early 90s. And it's what we've done is like an updated version. And then on the other side we've got a single called Treadstone, which is something more kind of in line with what we used to do, but with a kind of more techie side to it. So that's the two singles we're looking at now.
Where have you been this year thus far?
Max, where have you been this year?
We've been we've been to Australia.
Yes?
Yes, we did a massive Australia tour with Future Festivals. We did about 7 gigs. So we did pretty much all the major cities, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, and all, And then after that, we went to the US and did a 2-week tour in the US. We did both West and East Coast. Yeah, it's been pretty much everywhere, really. We're going to go to Japan and, Asia later on this year. But in the summertime, we concentrate on Europe because it's summer here.
Claro.
And then, in the winter, we go to kind of, where the summer is, basically, in South America or Australia or whatever, So, hey, it's so hard.
How do you cope?
I really don't know how we cope.
How do you compare, a clubbing night to playing at a festival? Obviously the two are very different, but is there one you prefer more than the other, or there's pros and cons, obviously, to both?
Yeah, there is pros and cons to both. There's something pretty special about seeing 10,000 people in front of you.
Yeah.
And you drop a record and the whole place just goes crazy, and that's a cool feeling. But at the same time, kind of getting a bit more deeper and a bit more, a bit of a journey going on in a smaller venue and in a club is also, sometimes as exciting. Yeah. So, I find at festivals sometimes you kind of have to kind of play some bigger records more close together, if you know what I mean. It's, if you start getting a bit too introspective, you can kind of lose a festival quite quickly.
And just speaking about, in a club you can play around with the console a little bit more and the equipment. What's your ideal setup? And of course, with remixes, using the equipment that there is available these days, it's easier to
we're big fans of the CDJs and the 800 really. The 1000 sounds great as well, but obviously there's a lot more toys on the 800, and I think it's easier for a lot of clubs to kind of have that in there straight away. So I think Pioneer have pretty much got it.
Pioneer is pretty much industry standard.
What's your favourite trick on the?
I'm going to be totally honest now. Me and Max aren't really tricky DJs, if that makes sense. In as much, we use the effects like the delays and the rolls and the reverse rolls and stuff for those moments for a bit of drama, which is kind of handy. But there's a lot of guys out there that are plugging in, obviously Tractor or Serato and all this stuff, and Ableton, and we're kind of a bit old school in that respect. We kind of slam it in and hope. Exactly. Yeah, we're kind of not really into all of that, but the effects on the 800 are a really useful little tool.
I think that just about wraps it up. Are we going into the pool?
I think I need a bit. I don't
even care anymore.
I think a leg and a wing for you.
Yeah.